Perfect.
All right.
Well, welcome to Spirits and Supernatural. I am Jenny.
I am Dawn.
And again, we're very excited because we have guests that joined us. This is our third part of our extra special episodes.
Yeah.
We kind of got away from doing characters just here at the end. And today we are doing props
Hmm.
that were used in the show. And we've got a couple of special guests. We have Deb White from Oklahoma. If you've been to a convention, you may have met her or her special vehicle, Dean the Impala. Thank you for coming, Deb. And
Absolutely.
we have Mary A. from Chicago, who we actually do a rewatch group with. That's how we met her. And
Hmm.
we've met her a couple of times, and she's got a boatload of props from the show. So um, we have the two of them. And then,
We also have Rihanna. Rihanna, can I tell everybody where you're from? Or do you want
Yeah,
to?
go ahead.
Rihanna is from Lawrence, Kansas.
which is the best prop of all.
That's not a prop, that's a city.
I know, but it's so cool.
And Rihanna owns a special car. She has Yertle, which is the gremlin. Is it a replica or?
No, this is the screen used car that Felicia Day drove on the show.
There
This
That
you
is
this is
go.
the
amazing.
and what's really one of the really unique things about this particular car is all of the vehicles that they had on the show, be it the Impalas or Bobby Chevelle, Cass's Pimpmobile, they always had at least two. You know, the Impalas they had a fleet across the entire 15 seasons, but they had two Chevelles, they had two Pimpmobiles. So on and so forth. They only ever had one Gremlin
And
that they
now you
used for
have it.
Charlie, and
That's
That's
and I
so
and I
exciting.
That's awesome.
congratulations.
thank you so
So
much.
with our podcast, we always try to do a cocktail that correlates with the character we're going to be talking about.
Hmm.
Since we're doing props, Dawn got real busy on her computer and printed up some labels. She did, go
I
ahead,
did Margie Kugel's lager, which is one of the beers that we see, and then also,
the El Sol
mhm,
imported beer.
mhm.
And mine is pink because Jenny doesn't drink beer. And it's actually Mike's hard strawberry lemonade. But
But
the
today
boys
it's
probably would
El
not drink
Sol.
it.
No.
But yeah, so that was really cool. So we don't have to worry about mixing and we'll still rate it at the end, I guess.
Sure.
But we're just going to go ahead and jump in. The first thing we would like you guys to explain to us very briefly, kind of what is a prop and what is,
I was just gonna say, you guys are like our prop experts
oh,
for this.
yeah,
Because for us, we're just fans and we're like, it's the stuff they use to make
yeah,
it more real.
right.
But our understanding is there's a little bit more to it than that.
Yeah.
Th-
So there's a
There
couple of
is.
different things. So if you want to just briefly explain a little bit to us, doesn't matter who does
What
what.
Well,
part?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just want to say one thing. Most people may not realize that props are anything that the characters are going to hold in their hands. So a lot of things can be under the props department. And then sometimes, depending on how it's used, even if it's something that can be held in their hand, it will fall under a different department when they're actually filming the show.
So like a chair, for
Yeah,
instance,
like
would that be
sometimes.
considered a prop if they're not something they really hold in their hand?
Is it not a prop if they sit on it, but it is a prop if they pick it up and throw it?
That's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
sometimes
Yeah.
That
sometimes
that
it's a differentiation like that.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be both. So
Yeah.
there's the set deck as well, who is,
Yep.
usually chairs, furniture, the various motel rooms that they're in, etc. But yeah, props. There's a few wide definitions on those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually, though, the prop is something that's portable, so you can pick it up and move it. And I
Right.
think that might be a really
Oh,
good way to distinguish between like the set decoration. Generally, you don't pick up and move a chair unless you maybe bash it over somebody's head or use
right.
it
Hmm.
during the scene or
That's what I
something like.
do. Mhm.
So would the vehicles be props or are they something else?
Other than Baby, we know Baby was character. We're gonna,
Baby is not a prop.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
baby is not a prop. I think Jensen has said that, more
yes.
than
Hmm.
once. But no, the vehicles are another department entirely.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
So
the other interesting maybe thing I just wanted to mention about the props is, how does a prop department get them?
yeah.
Sometimes you can buy the props, or the prop department was really good about making a whole host of different props. I mean, you can't go down to the Walmart and buy an angel blade or a first blade or things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
No.
I
Mm-hmm.
think the show was just amazing about creating all these wonderful props for us.
And
Oh,
unique things at that, like
Very
the
unique.
angel
Yeah.
blade itself is unique to the show, at least as far as I
yeah.
know.
Well, Jerry Wanick came to Nashville, and
Hmm.
obviously he was in Vancouver also. And so, he was the set designer, which I know you all know that, and I'm sure all of our listeners probably know that too. So that was really cool to listen in on his panel.
Hmm.
It was just really interesting. But so as Deb, you're the owner of an Impala. My first
Yes.
question is, how many 1967 Chevy Impalas do we know how many are still around?
Uh, for sure, what we have heard, and Rihanna can correct me on this, Jared and Jensen have theirs,
Hmm.
and there might be one in the Warner Brothers Museum, but the rest, this hurts my heart, were crushed.
Oh, crushed. Wow.
Yeah.
Because there were from what I've read, there were nine. Is
Yeah.
that, yeah,
But
okay.
in different stages of, like, some had, like, for the baby episode, that Impala had the roof cut off so that they could
Hmm.
get the picture, the shot of the boys laying down in the Impala. So that Impala doesn't have a roof on it.
Okay.
And other Impalas have holes drilled through the sides to mount cameras on them.
This
Yeah,
hurts me.
so I
Yeah.
know, I
Well,
know. Yeah, so whenever the car had to look good, like you see the whole car, like they're driving up,
uh-huh.
those are the hero cars. And
Yeah.
there were, yeah, yeah,
Well, I do know that one of the hero cars that was used in Baby is still around. And that man has brought that
Oh, yeah.
actual car to conventions.
Is that Joey's
Um,
or is it somebody else?
it's somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's somebody else. He was in Cleveland. Joey wasn't in Cleveland, right?
No, he was.
he
Then
was.
is it
Uh-huh.
Joey that has the
He,
actual?
little sis, the way I understand it with that car is that car was used in background on one of the episodes, but it wasn't black at the time. It was painted white. So it was the Jeff Budnick, the car guy, would love to sprinkle little Impala Easter eggs throughout the scenes where he could have, like in Bobby's scrapyard.
Hmm.
Um, if you look, sometimes there's an Impala hood there. There might be, like, the Leviathan episode that when they crush Edgar with the car, that's actually an Impala that they crush Edgar with.
I don't
Um,
think I want to hear any more about Impalas getting like holes drilled in them and cut up like it. I'm like,
Right,
why would
right.
you do this?
yeah.
It's
So it's not
okay,
as bad as
Dawn.
Dukes of Hazard, though. Those cars were
Oh, I'm sure.
decimated.
They're like dogs. All Impalas go to heaven. It's okay.
I was like, what do you mean they're like dogs? I thought this was gonna get really
Dogs are going
dark.
to be crushed. That's not where I was going. But
Yeah, so a lot of the other Impalas, while they did have several of them, were not all complete.
well,
Okay.
yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Or
So
they
yeah, my
took a
understanding.
beating.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize. But yeah, my understanding was they ended the show with nine. So the two hero cars went to Jared and Jensen. One's at the Warner Brothers museum, and then yeah, the other stunt vehicles were unfortunate. I won't say the word again and break your heart once more.
The
But
C
Don't
word.
don't crush her heart, please.
Oh my gosh, Jenny.
I will say I was lucky with my car in that Dean does have parts from that season one car that got hit by the semi. He has parts from that Impala.
They weren't all crushed.
And on no, so some of the parts from the rear end were, because it was hit on the side, so they
Hmm.
were able to use some of those in my car.
Okay.
So
another fun fact about the baby episode is while they were filming that episode, they used all nine. I believe they had nine at that time as well. Don't quote me on that. But while they were filming Baby, they used all of the Impala vehicles that they had. So the two hero cars, they used all of their stunt vehicles in one capacity or another. Because there's the one scene when Dean drives into those cones and
Hmm.
crushes the front end and crushes her
Oh,
heart.
I think
But
I
yeah,
found the episode title.
yeah, to Deb's point as well, there's that shot where there's the camera looking down into the car. So they had a blown apart Impala, and I know that sounds a lot worse than it is, but what it essentially is a shell. So the doors
yeah.
come off that car, the whole front end can separate from the car, the roof can come off the top of the car, so that way they can get specific interior angles or specific interior shots at the angles they need without having, a dash in the way, or,
Right.
filming from the back seat looking forward. They can have, a camera where you would typically have those rear seats.
Or the scene when
So
both boys are laying flat out.
Clearly,
yeah,
they
Correct.
don't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and in the scene where Dean is about to go fight, or is fighting Deputy Dumbass, and he's standing in front of the car on the phone, and then a little later in the scene when he pulls away, there's some vehicle like off in the brush that you can't really tell what it is because it's all covered and bushes and everything. That was the crushed Impala from season 1. They had that one all the way through the end of the show.
Wow.
Because
Yep.
they would, use all of the vehicles that they had. So the various fleet vehicles, they would use parts and pieces off all of them to keep whatever cars they needed on screen running. But Baby was such a fun episode because you can look at the Impala throughout the different scenes, and there's very little details that are different from scene to scene to scene because they
For
were
sure.
using different cars.
Yep.
So go watch again and see what you see.
Baby is one of my favorites, hands down, for sure.
Absolutely. So, Deb, I know you do a lot of supernatural conventions. You just mentioned
Yes.
that your Impala Dean can be like rented for weddings and other events. So,
Yep.
Rihanna, do you get to do anything cool with Yertle?
I've done a couple photo shoots with people. Admittedly the Gremlin is not as iconic as the Impala is, which every right that Impala deserves every bit of attention she gets and
I
more.
disagree. Yertle deserves all the
No,
love.
I agree. The Impalas definitely get the attention, but the Charlie's car wasn't used in too many episodes, so it's not as familiar to folks. Sometimes, when I brought it to a con, they walk over, see the Impala, which is great, and then they look at this little yellow car sitting there and go, what is this? Why is this here? So it takes a little bit more explaining, but you know what, I love her anyway. She was a screen car, and never in my life did I think I'd have a bright yellow 76 Gremlin, but she is a ray of sunshine and I love it. But it
Like walking on sunshine.
Yes.
I know.
That's right.
I call her Dean's little sister. So she has Yertle, Dean's little sister.
Has Felicia Day, do you have pictures with her with the car?
I do.
That's
So she
awesome.
came to Planet Comic Con in Kansas City a few years ago, and I did have Yertle at that convention as well, which is actually, I think that was the con that she told me why she named it Yertle, is because she thought the gremlin looked like a little yellow turtle.
Mm-hmm.
And so the name just kind of stuck. So
So
since
cute.
Felicia
I love
named the
that.
car, that that name has stuck with it, of course. But yes, I have had the car at several conventions. Felicia has been at a couple of those that I've been at as well, and we have done joint photo shoots with her and
Love
her
it.
original car, which is so much fun.
I love that.
That's brilliant.
So other than the cars, which aren't really props, but are a different category,
Yeah.
I do want something else that's really iconic in the show is the green water cooler. Do any of you have one of those that was used in the show or a replica of that?
I have a replica.
Okay.
Replica. Yeah.
Yep. They are hard to find. Some of these
Sure.
parts or props are unicorns. So if you find one, even if you already have one and you can afford to get another one, you should.
There's probably only one or two, maybe two or three of those screen used green ones. I know Joey has one.
Yeah.
And one thing to consider if people are thinking about collecting props or is the price. I mean, some of these,
Sure.
the green cooler has got to be out. I don't want to say outrageous, but it's going to be an astronomical price, and your
I don't
average
think I
person's not
even
going to be
would.
able to afford that.
Oh, man.
And Jensen still has one.
Jensen has one. Joey
Yeah.
has one. That's
Yeah.
as far as I know, but who knows?
And a lot of
Jensen-
times
go
you'll
ahead.
find one a different color and
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
repaint it.
Sure.
That's what happens a lot. So
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about a little bit about replicas, and you guys have mentioned items that were screen used, but there are other kinds of props, is my understanding. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the other things? Like,
Yeah,
I
I
had
can
no
maybe
idea.
I can start out, and I thought maybe we could just give the term, and then one of us can show what we're talking about. That way, I mean, of course, if you're listening to it on the audio, you're not going to be able to see it, but
Hmm.
we can describe it there. So we talked about, for example, the replicas. I think the name says it all. It's a copy. So somebody, either a company or an individual, made a copy of something that they like on, from the show. I think a lot of us have seen replicas. We've seen people doing photo ops or cosplay. Not only do they dress as the character, maybe they're holding an angel blade or a first blade or something like that. So it's just a
Yep.
copy of something. Do you guys have any other replicas that we can show there?
Well, here's Bobby's flask.
That's
So,
screen accurate though, right?
yeah, it is, but it's a replica. I
It's a
mean,
replica.
it is, but just to add my little spin on it, I've had it autographed. So
Love
this
it.
is just for
Nice.
me, but the
Hmm.
front is for Jim Beaver. So, I mean, that's something else that people can do with props. They can either keep it exactly the way it is,
Hmm.
depending on whether it's a replica or, I mean, obviously, if it's something screen used, you're not going to want to get it autographed, or at least I
Right.
wouldn't. But
No.
Yeah.
yeah,
So thanks for showing that, Deb, because that there, in addition to a replica, the step up from a replica is called screen accurate. So it looks exactly like the one that it was used during filming. Deb showed Bobby's flask. I mean, you can, by holding it, when she held it up, you can see it looks exactly like the one that was used on filming. Whereas the replica, yeah, you can tell that it's something there, but it doesn't have to be exactly identical to it.
I
So
feel
Gotcha.
those are
like
two
that's
different types of
my
items.
beer label kind of
There
is
you
the
go.
idea here because that, well, first of all, I found this image online. Somebody else made it, and it doesn't have like the exact image that was in the circle here, or it doesn't have like the information on the side or whatever.
But it's darn
But it's
good.
It's really
It's
And
nice,
close.
I'm
it's
proud of you.
fun. They're
Hmm.
relatively inexpensive. I mean, not everybody
I
has,
printed this today.
the
At
not
work?
everybody's
good
able to
job.
afford
Oh,
some of the higher ones. So it's a really nice way for all the fans to participate and get some nice props that way.
Oh, let me ask a real quick question.
mhm.
What is wardrobe considered? Is it considered a prop? Or is
It's
it
a
just
whole
considered
separate
wardrobe?
department too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wardrobe. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
Wardrobe is
considered
wardrobe.
wardrobe.
okay. Well, I
Yep.
didn't know. I mean, and that's what makes sense, but I
Mhm.
don't
Yeah, yeah.
because well, some wardrobe is just like a pair of jeans and a shirt. Some wardrobe is like Mary's nightgown that gets all bloodied. I happen to know somebody that owns one of those. That was your
Cute
cue.
Mary.
I have one, but maybe I don't know, maybe we can do an episode in the future on wardrobe, but wardrobe is considered completely separate than the props are. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
I would have just lumped it in there as just its own separate category, but still under that
Under the prop.
umbrella is how I
Okay.
would have thought of it.
All
But
right.
okay.
So screen accurate
And replica.
replica.
Yep. So
Hmm.
those were actually not used during the filming during the show, but they're still, look almost exactly or exactly identical to the ones in the show.
That's the
And then
screen accurate,
the
not
Hmm.
screen
just
accurate.
replica.
And then
Yeah.
there's three more, but those actually were associated or used, during filming of the show. So maybe we'll talk about the two together, production and screen use, because I think Deb and Rihanna would agree. Sometimes it's really tricky to tell the difference between the two.
For
So
sure.
production is an prop that
We-
was intended to be used in filming, but sometimes it just didn't make it onto the screen. Maybe, think about how many dozens or hundreds of props have to be made just for one episode. Sometimes they don't know exactly what they're going to need. Or this was something new that I learned when I got into props is there's not just one prop. They have to make multiples of each one of the props in case they
Mhm.
get broken, damaged, lost, whatever. So a production prop just didn't, it was intended to be used in the episode, but it just didn't actually make it on screen.
But it was still
Whereas
made by the show. Yeah.
it was still
Yeah.
made
Oh,
exactly
okay.
by the prop department.
So are you
Whereas
telling me
this,
there's multiple demon blades then?
oh
And
yeah,
not
oh yeah.
just the
Yeah.
one?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
She's joking.
Yep.
She's
Same for
No,
wardrobe too,
that's
though.
actually
'Cause
You
true.
guys are
Like I said,
blowing my mind today.
that's my mind was blown when I found that out too. I don't know about you, Deb and Rihanna. I was like, what? There's not just one demon blade. There's not just one. No, there's multiples.
Oh, I just
Um,
yeah.
assumed there would be
I
15
mean, with
seasons.
those goofballs on set, I'm sure they had to make multiples of things,
Well, they
right?
talk about Robin from Props who had to come and just take just walk by and take things from their hands because they were being a fool with it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes they
Absolutely.
get
They just
yeah.
call her Robin Props too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
so there's the production. Those, like I said, we just really can't tell they were used on screen. But then there's another category called screen use, and those actually did make it on screen. The other thing that I learned from when I started collecting props is I mentioned there's multiples of them. I thought they just use like one. No, sometimes they
Mhm.
use, two, three, four, several different ones during filming an episode. So
Mhm.
those are called screen use props. And as I mentioned, sometimes it's just a little tricky to tell the difference between something that's production. Yes, it's that object. It just didn't make it on screen versus screen use. It actually did make it onto,
So,
a supernatural episode.
as a collector, how can you verify that something was production versus screen used? Because like me, if somebody walked up to me and said, "This is the demon blade from Supernatural," I'd be like, "Heck yeah, that is."
Cool.
And I would have no clue if it was one they made at home, one they bought, one that was production or screen used or just screen accurate or what. How can you tell the difference?
It can definitely be really tricky. A lot of it is, in the props community, and a lot of us, kind of know each other. There's a bunch of various collectors. So some of it is faith. If you know the person it came from and they say, I got this here, I know this person. I know I can believe this person. But if someone walked up and handed me a demon blade, whether it is a replica, whether it's accurate, whether it was production, whether it's screen used, it's a little fuzzy. Sometimes, folks that have replicas, you can tell it's a cosplay prop or it's not,
Mhm.
not an accurate replica. But I mean, it's fun. It's fun to cosplay. It's fun to have these props. The replicas usually really cheap and expensive, great ways to go out and have fun. And then I've got I don't have very many replicas. I've got a ton of screen accurate because I'm just that OCD. Um,
Yes.
I know folks who were on it. I know folks in the props community. I know what these looked like, so I'm pretty particular about getting good replica props. I've got a bunch of production props too that I know where they came from, and I know these came from production. And then I've got a couple that I know were used too. Oftentimes with TV shows or movies or any kind of filming productions, honestly, not very often do you actually get like certificates of authenticity.
Hmm.
Right.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you don't. And
Okay.
so you just kind of, yeah, you have to know the person. You have to know where it came from. If someone just walks up to you on the street and hands you this and says it's this, you got to take that with a grain of salt. But if you know
Hmm.
where it came from, if you know who it came from, then you know what it is.
Well, I'm
And
thinking of
that's a lot.
somebody. Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
just
that's a
thinking if
lot.
somebody walks up to me in the street with a knife, I'm not going to ask them if it was screen accurate. I'm just going to leave. I'm just
You
saying.
haven't had
That's probably a
illicit
safe plan.
meetups with strangers about
No.
knives?
I'm just going to the park with my granddaughter. Hey, come here,
Hey,
lady. I got
here's a
something for
demon knife.
you.
So, I mean, Rihanna's correct in that I like to get a lot of like the crew gifts, the gifts that they made just for the crew
Oh,
each
that's
year. They would make,
awesome.
okay, well, sometimes something will be labeled as a crew gift, and I'm like, I don't recognize that. I actually know somebody that worked in video special effects on the crew, and I actually sent them a picture. Was this a crew gift? And they were like, yes, I actually have that. It is a crew gift. So, I mean, it is sometimes knowing people that
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
So there's got to be like a credibility behind that if it's somebody you know
Correct.
who was on the crew or you have a rapport with that person.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and if I could add to it, I I don't collect the replicas or the screen accurate. I guess I want the good stuff. I want the stuff that was actually used on screen or production. And you're absolutely right that it really comes down to their reputation, reliability. Even though maybe they're not supposed to, a lot of the cast and crew did take home a lot of the props.
Oh
And
yeah.
there's just a very small number of people who actually have the reputation that if you have a prop from that person, you know that it's actually used during production or during the actual filming. If you guys don't mind, maybe we could show a couple of the production or the screen
100%.
used
We would
Yeah.
items.
love to.
Maybe
Right?
just like some of your favorite ones and tell
Yeah.
us, I'm also thinking if I'm walking on the street and Jensen Ackles comes up to me and says, "Hey, I've got something I used on screen," I'm gonna believe him. And then
Yeah.
That's the
I'll
credibility
bring
point.
him home with me.
I was going to say, are you talking about yourself? Because yes, I know you were.
I saw that.
I saw you used on screen.
I'm going to
Yeah,
start out with the Angel Blade because I think, Jenny, that goes to your question. Well, how do you know this thing is real? I mean, there's probably, thousands, if not millions, of replica Angel Blades out there. But for example, here's one. And let me go a little bit closer to the screen. I know this one was used because look, the little tip is
the
even
tip's
broken off.
gone. Yeah.
So this one is made out of resin and it was used during filming. And then I don't know if how much you can see it on screen, but you can see little pieces of the paint are missing, little
Mhm.
chips.
Do you know in particular what episodes it may have been used on, or is that too
This one's
challenging?
Mhm.
It depends on how unique a prop is, with
Sure.
the Angel Blades too. I mean, they were introduced fairly early in the show, and they had, I don't know, number dozens, hundreds likely that were
Mhm.
used over the course of it. So trying to narrow down, some of them can be challenging, but then others, they may have only been used in a couple episodes, and you've got really
Hmm.
good screen caps, and you can match it and go, this is from that episode. Yeah.
me
That's
show you
so
one more because I
cool.
think these types of props are really highlight the difference between the replicas and the real ones. Let's see. I think everybody knows
Oh,
The
yeah.
FBI
the
badge,
FBI
sure.
IDs. I mean,
Yep.
Rihanna and
Which
Deb, you would
which names
agree.
are on them? I can't
So
tell
this
them.
one is actually, let's see, these are, so let me tell you the names because I think that it will definitely show the difference between the replicas, the production, and the screen used. So, I mean, if everybody knows, you can go online and buy these FBI replicas all day and night. They're like, what,
Right.
Yep.
$5, $10 a piece? They're pretty,
Hmm.
inexpensive.
I've seen people
These
make their own
Yeah.
you
for
can make your own.
cosplays.
You can
Yeah. Hmm.
absolutely. These are production. They're not screen use. And Jenny, to your question there, it's because of the names. So, for example, Dean's is Eric Kripke, actually Agent Kripke, and then Sam's is Agent Singer. We know that they never made it on screen. So if you
Not
look at all the
FBI,
different
but they did make
episodes,
it on screen when they were like the Forest Rangers or whatever, right? They had those
not
badges.
not these, not these.
Not FBI, but that's what I'm
The
saying.
four
At
they
the
were
end, when they were like the Rangers, they were Kripke and Singer and had badges, but they weren't FBI badges, right?
Exactly, right. So these are easy to tell. Okay, these are
Yeah.
production. They were not used on screen. Whereas we'd go to some of the other FBI, IDs. We know which ones they used on screen, and we can actually see them. So that's why it's
yeah.
really important because the replicas, $5, $10. These, if it's okay with you, I'll divulge. These are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
You're
It's your
talking
money. You can share.
$1,000 or so, whereas the screen used ones, I don't know, Deb and Rihanna, do you guys have an idea how much the screen used ones were, the ones that actually were used during an episode?
I mean, honestly, it's almost you
What
what
you're
you could
willing to pay,
ask
right?
for it. Like, what is somebody
True.
willing to pay for it? Because those are very limited.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know they used a lot of FBI badges, but how many are out there that survived, that you can actually get your hands on? So the more rare the prop, the higher, like the less
Sure.
of them there were. Like obviously there were a ton of Angel Blades, but less like First Blades. They didn't
Oh,
have
yeah.
hundreds of First Blades. So
Or the
um
Colt, too.
or yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
absolutely, there are just some of those that they didn't have very many of. So if you can get
Right.
your hands on one of those, you're really going to pay for it. Yeah.
Or
Yes.
was it called the Equalizer? Was that
Yeah.
the one that Chuck
From the
used
yeah.
with Sam?
Oh yeah, that
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So do you, Rihanna or Deb, have any screen accurate things that are not replica or
Are you thinking of screen
production? What
use
was it
or
called?
production?
Screen
Production.
used, so ones that actually made it on screen. Yep.
No, I was talking about what you just showed us. It was production made it but didn't make it on
Production, yep,
screen.
I showed the production. The Angel Blade was a screen
Screen
used.
used.
Yes,
Okay.
Angel
Yeah.
Blade was screen used, and the IDs were production, right,
Right.
Mary?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
So Rihanna, you said you like to have stuff that's like screen accurate
No, used,
or
right?
used?
Uh, Both. I
Okay.
like to be as accurate as possible. So this entire room I'm sitting in is it's either accurate or up. So ton of screen accurate. So the same as was used on the show, but it wasn't actually made by production, wasn't actually used on the show. But sometimes simple things. I'm just sitting here at my table, so like the Ralph Lauren glasses that they used in the bunker.
Yeah.
They there's a very specific kind of glass that they used. So these are the exact same as. So these are replicas, but
Right.
these weren't made by production. These are actual
Mhm.
Okay.
Ralph Lauren glasses that you can get. So same as, not production or screen used.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
And here's the decanter that goes with that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is the same thing. This is the same decanter, Ralph Lauren decanter that they used, but it was not used on the show.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and sometimes it also, you have to do your homework to know what these things are going for. Sometimes you can find a deal because
Sure.
they don't
What
know
they
that that was
have.
used on a TV
Mm-hmm.
show. So they're
Sure.
just selling it. So thanks to Rihanna, that decanter was a deal. She found it and they didn't know what they
Awesome.
had. So,
So
Okay.
in the
Debbie?
case of like that, like Ralph Lauren is just like a brand. Anybody can, well, not anybody, but you could choose to go out and buy
Yeah.
Ralph Lauren. But for Supernatural fans, that decanter, those glasses have a specific meaning. So that's something that like you could come across in a way. But if you're looking for that like production Angel Blade or whatever, that's something you have to go out intent to find.
right. So
yeah.
props, wardrobe, set deck. They liked to use things for the show that looked very common, especially like wardrobe or something. Some of the specific flannels, it looks like you can just go down to any Carhartt store, or
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and grab some of these flannels, which oftentimes was the case.
Hmm.
However, since they were in Canada, oftentimes the different brands and things that they would have access to were, there's some things that you can get in Canada that they don't make in the States. So a lot of things that they would use for the show, they wanted to look like it was a very common item,
Hmm.
when it is in fact something that is very unique and hard to find, like the Coleman coolers. If we come back to those, it looks
Yeah.
like just any green standard cooler, but these are pushing 60 years old.
Sure.
And so to find the exact cooler at this point is very, very challenging. Some of the brands of flannels and things that they wore came from overseas, so it looks like just a off the rack flannel, which it might be over in Europe. But trying to find one now, to find the to find a replica same as on the show, can specifically be very challenging, because they wanted to find unique, hard to find props, so that a lot of people couldn't just so there wouldn't be as many of them out there. They wanted them to be unique but
Mm-hmm.
look common.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I have a question for all three of you. What is your proudest thing that you got a hold of that you never thought you'd be able to get?
Other than my Impala.
Yeah, that one kind of
It's
stands
kind of a
on its
given.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's actually a piece of wardrobe. So I have one of, if y'all remember Monster Movie, the
I
black and
loved that
white.
episode. Mm-hmm.
So the blonde that Dean was really interested in, that had her, you can't tell in the episode, but her little bar wench outfit is brown with little pink flowers on it.
Uh-huh.
I know because I have that. I have
Okay.
that one.
So
So
was it screen
screen, the
used?
way I understand it, it was screen used.
Oh, that's really
So
cool. Okay.
yeah. So I
Very,
never thought I'd get something like that.
That's
very
cool.
cool. Rihanna,
Mary?
I'll go next because then there you can talk about the last category of the props, the screen match, because I think I know which one you're going to show. So my favorite prop that I have is this one.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Dean's
It's a
lighter.
lighter. Mm-hmm.
It's a lighter.
Yeah.
So this is where we were talking about. It's really important to know like where these things came from, what they mean, because this could be just a screen accurate. Hey, Zippos, they don't sell them anymore, but you can sort of Google it and probably go out and buy one. This is not. This is a screen use lighter. So this is the lighter that was used in Lazarus Rising when Dean was in the coffin and he lit up the coffin with this one. So I have I bought it from a person a reseller. I have the COA for it, and I just love this one probably because I like to own personal effects from the boys, and
Hmm.
then Lazarus Rising is my favorite episode. So for me, this is just I. When I saw this one for sale, it cost a lot of money. I'm gonna admit that, but I had to have it as soon as I saw it. So
Okay,
that's my
so
favorite one.
my question is then, just because I know we'll get to you, Rihanna, because I know you've got some awesome stuff to share. But so you're just holding it, Mary. You don't have gloves on, and you don't have it encased in a an
Hermetically
oxygen
sealed.
free. um, is that something that you feel like you're okay with that because you want to be able to touch it and you let other people see it? I mean, I know you probably don't like just let you're not gonna let a 3-year-old carry it around, but um, I mean, I'm sure there's collectors though that probably if they got a hold of that, they're like, nobody's touching this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
what's
absolutely.
mhm,
That's really interesting that you say that. And Deb and Rihanna, you might agree with me. I think it sort of depends on the prop. This is metal. There's very little that's going to, happen to it unless, 10,000 people handle it and it starts, having rubs on it or
mhm,
other things. But then there are other props. I'm going to show you another one. So this is a screen used, it's called Stunt. So it's like a rubber taser used from the episode in Faith. And if you look closely, you can see the paint is coming off a little
mhm.
bit. They're starting to have, little cracks. This one I have to be very careful, how I handle it. I don't want a lot of people handling it. So I think it really sort of depends on the prop. And then I also have some paper items like the Dean's arrest warrants. Poor guy got arrested a couple times throughout the seasons.
Sure.
Paper, you
Poor
want to be
guy.
very careful. You don't want a lot of fingerprints, the acid from your fingers on there. So I
Yeah.
think it
Mhm.
really depends on the prop.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So, Rihanna, what's your unicorn that you got and you're so excited about, other than your car, of course?
Yeah, other than the car, I have a couple others. So one here, I'll show you. So this guy here
Is it the
is the
dog?
case. It is not the dog. No, the
Okay.
the pets do not come into this room,
Okay. Oh
for
no.
many reasons. So yeah, the cats and the dogs are just it's just a calamity
Yeah.
with that crew. So one of them is Chuck's book, Chuck's death book from the final couple episodes. So they had a couple kinds. So they had static books, which means you can't open them. It's just rubber here on the side.
Uh-huh.
And then they had the actual books that were paper. They would fall open. You had the paper pages. So I do not know for sure if this one was a production or used. There's no really unique identifying marks on it to call it one versus the other, but I do know this came from set. But then one more that I
Now,
did
did
sell my
your,
soul for.
I'm sorry, did that one open then? Does
No,
the one
no.
you
So
have a,
this is one of the static props that's
okay.
it's just one piece. It doesn't fold open. It doesn't have any of the pages
Okay.
inside of it. And I do have to get up and get around my chair. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, because that's really cool. So that would have been the book that Billy had
Yes.
that Chuck needed to get a hold of, or
Yeah.
and that Michael at slash Adam got for him, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So this last one I'll show you. So this one is in a case. I don't wear gloves when I hold it just because I can't for what it is. I have to hold it. I have to touch it. So this is one of these screen used first blades.
So Tim Amundsen touched that.
Um, I don't know for sure, Tim. I
Okay.
know Crowley and Dean
Jensen.
did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because so they had multiple blades over the course of the show. Once again, I don't know exactly how many they had. So when I was talking with this person about getting one of the blades, I knew it was going to be a screen used one, but I didn't know like which episodes it would be from. I
Uh-huh.
didn't know any of that. However, this one, again, I know it's on video, but there is very unique blood patterns here on this blade, and on the handle and on some of the teeth. So I have matched this to the final scene of 923. So when Sam lays Dean in bed, he's after Metatron has killed him. Crowley comes in, does his monologue, and he lays that blade across Dean's chest, or
And
lays it in his hand and then across his chest.
that's
This
it.
is from that scene. This
That
is
is
from that
so
episode.
cool. I love that so much.
So,
Wow.
for very, very many reasons, that episode and that scene mean a lot to me for very many things. So when I got this blade and I'm going through the episodes trying to figure out which scene, which episode this came from, and it came from that scene.
Did you
I
do
had
a
a
little
moment.
dance?
No, I sat
Probably.
down
Oh,
because I
Would have
needed a
passed out.
moment.
did you cry a
Yes.
little? That's so
No,
cool.
no, I don't cry. I'm dead inside, but I still
Okay. Okay, Jensen.
She was overwhelmed.
And if I could add to that a little bit, that's the last category of props there are is called screen matched. So there's something unique about it that you can actually, I mean, you're lucky if you can pinpoint it down to a specific like movie or TV show, but then there are some you can specify the exact scene it was used in, like Rihanna's. So there's something about the patterns or
That's
wear
so
marks
cool.
about it that you can exactly pinpoint it. And those, I mean, there's got to be a handful of those for Supernatural. It's very, you can imagine, it's really, really difficult to pinpoint
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
And those are going to be very expensive.
For sure.
I sold my soul for this prop. I'm not
Yeah.
going
Well,
to.
Is that why
admit
you can't
what
cry anymore?
Yeah. That's why she's dead inside. No, she's
Yeah.
soulless.
Yeah, no, I can't afford to cry. I got to go to work now.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
no, I wouldn't trade that for anything.
That's so
These are so cool. And
Mhm.
like the smiles in everybody's faces because we have this connection, we recognize it. So, how would one, if you could say maybe briefly, I don't know how intricate of a process it is, how would one become like,
yeah. How
look
did you
for
get
props?
into
How
this?
did you get into it?
Yeah.
How do you get into prop collecting?
Yeah.
I don't think
Well,
I started out saying, go ahead, Rihanna, go ahead.
No. I was just make a bad joke. It's like, when people ask, how did you get into this fandom? How did you start doing all this? It's like, well, lots of spare time and no social life.
Dad
No.
went on a hunting trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's
I guess for me, I'd never intended when, to say, okay, I want to collect props. I sort of fell into it.
yeah.
I think all of us would agree. We're beyond obsessed. We're beyond fans of the show. And I just wanted something to have like a connection to the actors and a connection to the show. And I discovered there were props. Then I discovered, oh my God, I can actually buy these things. So it's just a matter of doing some research. There are some auction places that will very rarely, but occasionally they'll come up for auction. There are individuals who do sell these. Occasionally, you'll find them for whatever reason. People like us, we own them and they want to sell them. But those are the ones you have to be very, very careful to
For sure.
make sure that they're the real things and not fakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as we talked about earlier, there are people that we know that they're the legitimate ones. They were
Yep.
former crew members,
Yep.
or whatever, and so we know that they're real. So I think if you decide to do it, just really do your homework, because hopefully we've shown you a little bit. I mean, there's replicas, screen accurate, production, screen used, screen matched. The difference in price between the replicas and the screen matched is thousands of
Huge.
dollars.
Yeah. There's
Yeah, huge.
no comparison.
I think I'll be
Yeah.
sticking to printing my Margie blog.
Well,
We'll-
and
We'll
I
just do
think
our podcast.
just taking the time to figure out, like, okay, I didn't get into it obviously I have all these props now because I have the car, and some of those are really, really hard to find, and they are very screen accurate, although they were not screen used. Relationships, like you have people like Mary, like Rihanna, like myself, that are knowledgeable and know and can kind of guide you and kind of keep you from making a very expensive mistake.
Yeah.
I say a lot of it too is just have fun, and
Yeah.
you don't need to watch the show and be a prop collector and get super serious about it. If you find somebody selling an angel blade at a con and you think it's really cool and you really like it, go for it.
Yeah.
If it matters to you, if it is accurate, or replica or whatever, then like get some screen caps, get some up close views of what was actually used on the show, compare that to what you're thinking about buying. And, if it matters to you, then you've got your answer. If you're not sure, reach out to some folks in the community, but, more often just have fun. When I started watching the show however many years ago, it was just me in my living room. I didn't know anything about these cons, and however many years down the road, well,
Same.
Yeah.
it got a little crazy. So
Can
cool
definitely
that you
become an
have a
obsession.
bunker room, though. I just
I
think that's so cool.
know.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't wait to make a bunker room. I'm going to be buying a house sometime in the next 6 to 12 months, and I have all the supernatural stuff that I'm dying to put out.
Yes.
that's so
I
cool.
love it.
Well, I think too, like what we're saying, if somebody can afford a replica and they want to get a replica, the value of that is because that's what you wanted and
Yes.
it gave you joy. And so
Correct.
like Marie Kondo now, does it give you joy? Just joy. I just think that that's, you know, like if I buy a t-shirt or whatever, it made me happy and somebody else would be
My
like,
thrifted flannel that
yeah,
every time I wear it, somebody's like, "Is that your Winchester flannel?" I had somebody say
Yeah.
that to me
yeah,
today.
yeah,
This
that's
Yeah.
is an
hilarious.
Eddie Bauer shirt from the thrift store.
Oh, I know. I had one more question about a specific prop, and that's the Samulet. Has anybody that you know, or do you guys have a screen used Samulet, or know if any are floating around?
Know somebody that does.
Know
Okay,
somebody that does. There's one for sale right now.
go for
Um,
it, Mary.
Do it.
should I, yeah, okay, I'll tell you the price. So this is somebody who's known to charge way more than the items probably should be,
Oh,
costing, but hey, there's crazy people like us who are willing to pay some of these prices, but there is one for sale right now, just shy of $20,000.
okay. Well,
Ah,
So,
I,
yeah,
I love that idea. I just, I can't.
right.
you're gonna buy a house. That's a little
I'm going to
much.
buy a
Yeah,
it's
house.
a little
Well,
much.
and
house or
it
a necklace. I
the
don't
thing
know.
about it, it can be the smallest things that bring you joy. I had
Right.
somebody gift me. Phil Sagrisha has an auction on eBay where he sells some of his crew stuff to, like, when the writers were on strike, he would fund the writers, like help them out with bills and things like that. And so a lot of times he'll sell crew stuff on there. And so there is Jensen and Jared both have a little pewter Impala that was given as a gift in season 15. No, not 15. When was the duffel bag, Rihanna?
Duffel bag was 15.
Yeah, it was 15. I don't know why I was second guessing that. I think the key was in that, wasn't it? The little
Oh, I
pewter
don't
key.
remember. Hang on. It's
The things that
I
you
Anyway,
got one right
guys
here.
know amaze me too.
yeah.
I got one right here.
So someone gifted
This
me that.
this
That's
was
it.
14.
14.
It's in incredibly tiny writing on the
Yeah.
license plate on the front. I've got fairly good eyesight, and I still have to get a magnifying glass to see this.
Yeah.
But this is 14.
So somebody bought that from Phil's auction. He was selling two. They bought two and they gave me one. They paid it
Wow.
forward to me because they said you need one because you have an Impala.
That's
So
so
I
Wow.
actually
sweet.
have one of Phil's little gifts. That kind of stuff really fills my cup.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Samulet that they used in the fan fiction episode, the one that they
Yeah.
made, I think that would be cool to get a hold of.
Someone
Do it.
Like,
has it because you guys
yeah,
remember, Deb and
not
Deanna,
for me. I don't want it.
there was a
I
big
like to eat.
sale.
I would never be
Yeah.
able to again if I.
I saw it for sale. There was a huge sale a couple of years ago by somebody who acquired a lot of real props, and I saw it for sale there on that list. So somebody owns that one.
That's
Yeah.
really cool, though.
Yeah.
Well, I think. Did you have something else, Dawn?
No. This is just such a cool conversation.
This
I'm so
is.
glad to be here right
I
now.
know. Yeah, we come up with some good ideas sometimes,
Yeah,
don't we?
on
Yeah.
occasions.
Well, ladies, it means so much to us that you would take your time to do that and share it. And I know you love it. Obviously, you love to talk about this stuff, but you didn't have to come on our little podcast, but we really appreciate it. Um, this will come out the first Thursday in December. So I'm going to go ahead and say
Yay.
Merry
Awesome.
Christmas. And when you get to listen to yourselves, and we'll send you a link and everything. So, Deb, Mary, Rihanna, thank you so much. You have obviously given us a wealth of knowledge that
Yeah.
we sure didn't know hardly any of that.
No, surely.
And
I'm not
we,
sure I still understand all the
yeah,
differences, to be
yeah,
honest.
but we appreciate you
It can
guys.
be it can be a little overwhelming, and one prop can be more than one thing sometimes.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
So
I
we
was
learned that.
I
It's
was
like
so
a
surprised to find out it was so complicated and so expensive once
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
Yeah.
into
Mary,
it.
your knowledge is amazing. Like when I have some, if I find some props, I may be coming to you to be like,
Absolutely.
what do
Yeah.
you
And I
think
love
about
that.
this?
I love the community that Supernatural has
yeah.
too. Your guys aren't like, oh, yeah, come to me and then I'm gonna, take it from you. You know what I mean? I'm
No.
gonna like outbid
Yeah,
you. But
no,
no, you
we're
guys are
all,
like, I want to help you and you're all
that's
loving and
it
kind. And
Yeah.
for sure.
Everybody in the community is really that way, and a lot of people have really specific focuses. This is something that they know a lot about.
yeah.
I know somebody that watches are his thing. I mean, if you want to know everything there is to know about the watches they
Yes.
used on the show, there's wardrobe people, there's car people, certainly.
Yeah.
And the
If
amazing
you've
thing
got
is, you show them a picture or as part of a picture, boom, like 2 seconds later, they tell you everything about that prop or that piece of wardrobe,
Oh my
right?
gosh, you know what would be
yeah.
so cool?
Exactly.
The
Ev-
cassette from the pilot.
Oh,
When Sam's going through the cassettes. I
Mhm.
just thought of that would be cool.
should we make a
downstairs.
dream list?
Yeah, for you guys, let me, I'll make a list that you guys should buy and then you can show them to me.
Okay.
So Deb and I, we know someone who can, make those cassettes, which isn't something that, can be really done very easily anymore because it takes very specialized equipment. But we had blank cassettes, the same as that they had in the pilot. There just wasn't anything on them because they were, they were blanks that you could burn your own cassettes, way before
Yeah.
even burning CDs.
Well,
But we knew.
we didn't call them burning
Yeah.
back then.
Well, whatever the term was,
Yeah.
it's slipping my mind. I apologize.
No, it's
But
so
we
funny.
we had these blanks, same as
Hmm.
used on the show, but we sent them to our friend who could create, who could put songs on these cassettes. So both Deb and I have the same cassettes, but we've got, our own chosen songs that we got to put on them. So, I've got on side A is Night Moves, and then the other one is when he's rolling into Skull Cemetery, the Rock of Ages. So when you pop
Def
that thing
Leppard.
in,
Yep.
depending on which side it's on, it just automatically starts playing Night Moves or Rock of
Rock of
Ages.
Ages.
Same as in
That's
those two
cool.
couple episodes when he pops it in. Those are the first songs that started playing.
Oh my gosh, I love
That's
that
great.
so much.
All right.
All right, well, we'll wrap this up again, ladies. Thank you. Thank you so much. We really
Thank you guys.
appreciate
This was
it.
fun.
Thank you for
Good.
having us.
Yeah,
We have our stuff just
absolutely.
sitting in our houses, sitting by themselves. We love to share it with everybody.
Well, good. I'm
Oh,
glad you got it
absolutely.
out and dusted it off to show us on here. So you all have a great week, rest of your weekend, okay? Thank
You
Thanks.
you.
too.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and happy Thanksgiving, even
Yeah.
though this will come out after Thanksgiving. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Dawn, shall we rate our drink?
Yeah.
Let's
So,
see. Ease of
did I
making.
reveal the secret that this isn't actually Margie Kugel's?
Yeah. What?
It's
It
Killian's
wasn't
Irish Red.
it wasn't screen used
No,
beer.
this
I
is,
forgot.
yeah.
I actually do have a Margie Kugel, a real label. This is where our explanation comes in handy. It's production. So it's still on the
Yeah.
original sheet. It just need to peel it off and stick it on a bottle, but
Oh,
it's a
that's
real.
really cool.
This is cardstock.
Yeah.
I printed it out and
Hey,
scotch taped. I I wanted a bottle that was like the dark glass because that's what
Yeah.
Margie Kugel was
We
in.
never, yeah, we should have
We never
clunked.
clunked. We never clunked.
We clunked. We clinked. Let's
So
crush it.
I'm not gonna crush a
Right.
glass.
Crush the card, crushed on
So
soul.
what do? We do match. We do
Well, I'm pretty sure what you made matches
yeah,
perfectly.
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 Uh,
Could probably
it
sell
was
it for thousands of
super.
dollars. You could
Somebody else designed
you
this
could
though.
sell it
I will
for
not be
nothing. Okay.
stealing somebody else's idea
I'm giving a full swig on it though because you did a great job
on.
on matching the episode.
Okay.
It's great prop.
Thank you. I actually worked harder to get the El Sol
Well,
like banner because it's very unique. It has like several little
yeah.
flags the way it goes. I don't know how to describe
It's
it. I worked
perfect.
harder to do that, but thanks
Full swig.
Canva.
And I'm
No.
gonna give a
Swole
a
fig.
full fig. Yep,
That's
Jenny
never
drank her whole drink. I'm gonna give a full swig on taste.
Yeah,
because
even because it wasn't beer.
Yep.
Jenny doesn't like beer.
100%.
I mean, I like Killian's, so it
How
worked.
easy was it for you to make these?
I went to make the labels or
Yeah.
to make
Well, I
the.
think that's got to go with part of it. Was it hard?
Okay, so I went to the store and bought this beer. That was super easy, probably the
Okay.
easiest part. So I used Canva for the rest of it and just kind of moved around. That one I honestly think was harder to make than this one, even though this has like the neck label and the
Yeah.
bottle.
Are we still giving a full swig or do you need to?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
full
mean,
swig.
it wasn't. I do stuff in Canva all the time. It wasn't hard.
And so if somebody wants to mocktail this, they can get strawberry lemonade,
I mean, yeah, you can
like
buy a
Crystal
bottle
Light,
of
or
glass
they can just
soda.
get a,
Yeah,
fake beer if they like the taste of beer.
yeah.
Okay.
And you can Google it online like I did to find the labels.
8
Ta-da.
full swigs. We did it.
Yay.
All right.
Go team.
Okay. All right. So we're just going to wrap up. Thanks again for everybody that listens and my mom.
And Jenny's mom.
Yep.
She's our biggest fan.
She is. We are on the socials.
Uh-huh.
And so, drop us a line. Let
Say-
us, if
say
you have
hello.
great ideas or a great cocktail or whatever, just
If you're
let us
listening
know.
to this and you collect things or you
Yeah,
have like
definitely.
your favorite replica, we want to see it.
Absolutely,
Like
100%.
comment a
Email,
picture, let us know.
send us your prop
We,
pictures. Don't send us your props.
I mean, if you want to send
Yeah.
us your prop,
You're not getting it back. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
funny.
Again, thanks, ladies. Thanks, Mary. And
That
who,
was
who
great.
stuck with us, Deb and Mary or Mary?
Deb left, but
Deb left.
Rihanna and Mary
Rihanna,
are still
Mary.
here.
I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't sure when we actually needed to hang
Well,
up when the recording
whenever
stopped.
you
I
want
was
to.
just gonna hang until it cut because I didn't want to leave prematurely.
No, you were
No, you're
good.
good.
You got to hear us do our rating and everything.
Oh, good.
Usually
Yay.
the rating is a little different, but this was, it
Yeah.
was fun.
If you ever listen to an episode, I mean, we love it if you listen to other episodes. We actually do like
do, yep.
a cocktail. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't actually drink either, so.
Well, you don't have to drink to enjoy our pot. My mom doesn't drink.
No,
We
well, no,
usually,
I-
yeah.
We actually make a point of making a mocktail version of all of the cocktails too. So you can have something similar if you want to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. All right. Well, we're gonna let you guys go because we got to get ready for our next
Yeah.
grouping.
Are they at 7? Are they waiting for us now? I have no idea.
It was 7:30, but
Is it?
we can check if people are available. Then
Cool.
we can.
And one more thing I wanted to show you specifically, because I know you work so hard to do those Margie
gosh.
Kugel bagels. I'm standing up now, so I didn't stand up earlier because I didn't want to make everybody motion sick on the Zoom. But I happen to
got
have this nice little poster
poster.
right here.
Hold on, let me get my label.
That's awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
Mary's running to get hers too.
Yeah, we're not recording anymore, so yeah.
Okay.
Well,
You guys
actually,
are
the
fine.
video is
The
still
video-
recording, but the
oh.
audio is
Oh,
not.
oh, okay.
You're good.
Sorry for anybody
No,
who got motion
don't
sick.
apologize. You're
Totally okay.
why did I open
Yeah,
this?
it is 7:30. Why did you open that, Jenny?
No. Not going to drink another one and a cocktail.
Oh, please do. She gets real funny.
I get something.
Darn, I
I
can't
think
find
this
them.
episode might be called Crush. We'll find out.
Oh,
Or Crushing It or
I think
something.
it should be called crush the car, crush my soul.
I died with that Impala.
Yeah. What do you have, Mary?
I couldn't find the Margie Kugel one, but like here's another one. Same thing. They just printed them out on the little sheets and then
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, was that to go on a box?
Was that like that looks like
for
that would have
beer.
been
Yeah.
yeah, but that looks like that would have been like on like
Yep.
Like the
like-
case.
yeah.
Yeah.
like a 12-pack or
Rather than the
whatever.
bottle.
Yeah.
Margie Kugel one's around somewhere.
Yeah. She's just like on my props somewhere or other. I don't know. There's so many just lying around. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Well,
I know I
I'm
keep standing
kidding.
up. This room is actually kind of smallish, but a lot of things are within reach. So another thing I want to show you. So talking about the crush my car, crush my soul. I want to show you something really cool. So because there are still pieces of that original car that got crushed that are out there. I was lucky enough to go to set a few times, and I got to see that car in person.
No.
Pulled the tarp off of it, and it's just what was left was
Oh
still
my
there.
gosh.
But that those a lot of classic cars, there was a tag in the engine bay, often on the firewall, that had all the details about the specific car. So where it was made, when it was made, body style, paint color, whatever. It's all the details on the car. So the tag off of that car.
Oh my
That is
God.
so cool.
I pulled
That's
this off
awesome.
that season 1 Impala
Did you
myself.
did you
So
steal it?
no. I was told I could take it.
Okay.
So I want to make that clear.
All
No.
right, if you
Uh-huh.
say so.
It's just
All
like
right,
the
all
things
right.
that walked off set.
Yeah.
No. So before
We're
you send the
kidding.
black helicopters off me, no, it's I want to make that clear. Is I was there. I was there with some folks, and they said yes, okay. Um, I got to meet Kripke a few years later on. He signed it for me.
Dead.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
out.
So
He's from our home state, at least.
Mhm.
Oh,
So
that's right.
we've got a Kripke
Yeah.
connection.
We should try to get him on the show.
We've said that since the beginning. I'm sure it's very feasible.
We'll just be like, we're also from Ohio.
Yeah.
Just do this.
OH. Yeah.
Sure.
He's gonna
Exactly.
come.
He'll have to say IO. It'll be
Yeah,
great.
and then he'll be here. I'll be like, next time you come to visit your parents, we'll come up to Toledo. We'll interview you.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
When did you start did you watch the show from the very beginning? Well, you're probably too young to have watched it from the beginning.
no, I'm not as young as most people assume, which is actually really nice. But no, I actually joined later than probably what most people would think. About mid-season 9, actually. A lot of people wouldn't even believe that, but yeah, I started watching about mid-season 9, and then by the end of 9, just the way that ended, it's like I got to know what the show is about. So between the end of 9 and then the premiere of 10, I went back to the beginning and binged all 9 seasons
Was
before
it on
10 premiered.
Netflix at
So
that time then that you could?
nope.
No?
I went and found the DVDs at
Oh, okay.
GameStop or half price. I had to go find the DVD sets to go through and watch all these. But another fact is I did actually live in Lawrence before I started watching the show, and a lot of people
Oh,
don't believe me. I have no idea why, but they all assumed here I moved because they all assume I moved here because of it. I don't know where they're
Oh,
getting that idea,
You're such a big
but
fan that you moved to Lawrence, Kansas.
there was
a lot of people think
Dedication.
that.
there was a couple
But
we were
no,
sitting beside in Nashville who were from Lawrence, Kansas, and the guy got called and he got to ask a question.
hmm
So I don't know if you've watched the
yeah.
panel, the afternoon
Yeah.
I
panel.
didn't get to see. Yeah.
And yeah, so he was like our seatmate sitting beside us.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
cool.
So yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool.
Well, if he sees a little yellow gremlin driving around,
Yeah.
Me.
I do take her out occasionally, but yeah. So when I went back and started season 1, and it just opened on Lawrence, Kansas, I'm like, well, this is my rabbit hole. Here we go.
Uh-huh.
You're like, I'm there.
I'm
All right.
done.
Let's
Here I
go.
am. Yeah. Oh, I get it.
No, no, it my like way before I even started watching, like when it premiered, back in college or so, my dorm mates, they kept trying to get me to watch the show, and it'd be like right up your alley, and they kept pitching it to me as two hot guys and this, that, and the other. I'm like, I don't really care, but I sat down and watched an episode, and that Impala went roaring across the screen. I'm like, there we
I'm
go.
done.
You buried the lead. This is it.
You
This
buried
is
it.
it. Now we're talking.
That is so
awesome.
cool.
So
But
that
Mary,
car and the soundtrack is why I started watching.
Mary, you just started fairly recently watching it,
I
right?
did, and it's like the biggest regret of my life because it had been on Netflix for years. And I
Mhm.
saw the little preview, hey, this looks good, and I added it to my list. But on Netflix, your my list is like a mile long. And then I eventually got to it. I've actually only been a fan for 2 years, and I've only been
Yeah.
collecting props for maybe like a year and a half. But boy, after those first like 4 or 5 episodes, I was a goner.
Oh,
That's all it took, and crazy fanatic ever since.
yeah, I
Wow.
started in February 2023.
I
And
started in September 23.
yeah. And I watched it in 5.5 weeks.
Oh yeah.
I
So
kept
first-
telling Jenny she wouldn't like it,
You
actually.
tried to talk me out of watching it.
I did.
Kind
You
of.
were
I was like, oh, well, you're not going to like this. And then she watched it and was like, okay, now we have to make our whole lives about this.
It's true. I was after you for a while about doing a podcast.
You were.
Where I wore you down.
Oh my gosh.
it's so cool. I mean, Brianna and Deb and I, we collect props, but you guys do a podcast. It's just amazing all the different ways that the fans show their love and
And
participation.
now these stinking conventions.
In Nashville, I can't tell you how many people said, oh, I listened to that. I
Oh,
had
cool.
so many people, and I was like, Yeah, really? Okay.
The
That's
numbers
awesome.
don't show that though.
There were plenty of people. There were it had to be at least 5. I don't know. It was
That's
a lot
really
of people.
cool.
Yeah. That was cool.
So those 5 listeners and my mom.
And your mom. 5 people
See?
and your mom.
All right, ladies. Well, we're going to let you go so we can get ready for the next one. But again, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right,
And
thanks,
if you
guys.
ever want to come back again, let
Thank
us
you so
know.
much.
All right.
Yes.
Take care.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Yeah.